The penultimate game of this 2017 regular season for the Diamondbacks finds us back in Kansas City. And continuing this series with the Royals after today, just one more to play before Wednesday's wild card game. So join us as we count down to the postseason on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Kauffman Stadium, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. This is game 161 on the year as the D-backs look to even this series with the Royals at a game apiece. And Bob, today they got Jeff Mathis back behind the plate.
Yeah, good to see Jeff back behind the plate. There's still some uncertainty as to whether Jeff will be able to answer the call come Wednesday, but this is a way for Torrey and his staff to get eyes on Jeff Mathis. Could have very easily sent him back to Arizona to play in some instructional league games, but this way they can actually see Jeff Mathis in front of them and evaluate whether he's a guy they can go to on Wednesday.
Coming off that fractured right hand suffered August 21st, and we'll see what kind of condition Jeff Mathis is in today. On the mound for the Diamondbacks, Taijuan Walker.
You know, partner, even before the days of advanced analytics, we knew that wins and losses are not an accurate way to measure the kind of a season a pitcher has had, but it would be nice for Taijuan Walker to get win number 10, get over 500. He's pitched extremely well this year, with the exception of his last time out when a couple of his own errors really hurt him.
161, the D-backs and the Royals in Kansas City. And the first pitch is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Gila River Hotel and Casinos. Earn rewards 10 times faster than ever before with the card by Gila River Casinos. Sign up for the card today. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Jack in the Box and the Jumbo Jack, a home run for your mouth. By Dodge. Join the Brotherhood of Muscle at the Dodge Summer Clearance Event going on now. And by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money. By Gigablast, internet from Cox. Get ready for the gig line. Buy Oregano's. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run. At Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint. Location statewide. By Phoenix Raceway. See Dale Jr.'s final West Coast race at the Can-Am 500 November 12th. Tickets at phoenixraceway.com. And by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Talk to an agent today or call 1-800-STATE-FARM. Another beautiful September day in Kansas City. Taijuan Walker is set to take the mound at Kauffman Stadium. D-backs and Royals next.
Jackson back here at Kauffman Stadium. Fan Appreciation Night. They just honored Mike Moustakas breaking the single-season home run record, which was 37, and he is now sitting at 38 homers. Royals not going to the postseason this year. D-backs, though, however, they're playing in that wild card Wednesday game at Chase Field. Couple of news and notes from today. We already knew Zach Greinke was going to start that game, but Torey Lovullo made it official today, seeing as how Greinke got through his outing very well last night. He's feeling good and ready to go. Jimmy Sherfy, however, is on the shelf for the moment. He's day-to-day right triceps tightness. Good news, though, is Jeff Mathis is back, and he's looking to catch that game on Wednesday. But, of course, he has to get back there. He has had that right avulsion fracture, right hand fracture, and he's feeling great, but he's working through some scar tissue in the hand. And so tonight he will be back in the lineup, trying to work his way back from the injury.
Right now, in the last probably 3 or 4 days, it's just getting through that scar tissue, getting some of those bumps and grinds, out of there, and like I said, we're progressing in the right direction, and I'm happy with that. Happy enough to be in the lineup tonight, that's for sure.
What's the plan? Do you plan to catch the whole game?
I don't think I'm gonna catch the whole game. Just kind of gonna go. I think the goal right now is maybe to go 3 or 4 innings, and then kind of see how I feel and go from there.
All right, so Jeff Mathis hoping to prove to his coaches that he can play in that game on Wednesday. As he said, he'll catch a couple of innings. They'll see how it goes. We've got, of course, Chris Iannetta and Chris Herman that could come in after that. Meanwhile, on the mound, it'll be Taijuan Walker, followed at some point by Zach Godley. We're getting you set for first pitch. Steve Berthium and Bob Runley have the call from Kansas City.
A sunny day, 77 degrees, very comfortable, getting set for a 6:15 local start at Kauffman Stadium. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson with you. The Diamondbacks and the Royals, the second of this three-game series. This is game number 161 as the D-backs look to even things up with KC, one game apiece following last night's 2-1 loss. A little late getting started today, as Jody mentioned a moment ago. Mike Moustakas was honored down on the field in a pregame ceremony. Moustakas earlier this year set a new Royals single-season home run record, passing Steve Balboni. He got his 38th. And so they had a nice ceremony for him down there on the field. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Diamondbacks tonight. It's a pretty familiar look for Torey Lovullo, and it's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
David Peralta will once again lead it off out in left field. Ketel Marte at shortstop, batting second. Paul Goldschmidt down at first base. J.D. Martinez in right field. Jake Lamb with a home run in the game last night. He'll be at third. A.J. Pollock serving as a designated hitter tonight with Daniel Descalso at second. Ray Fuentes in center field. Jeff Mathis doing the catching, and right-hander Taijuan Walker on the mound.
Royals have yet to take the field, so let's, while we have a moment here, Bob, check your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, you hope today the Diamondbacks can be quick learners. You may remember back in the first half of the season, we commented many times how the Diamondbacks, when facing a pitcher they weren't familiar with, would go back to the dugout, exchange information, exchange notes, and the second and third time through the order, they usually beat the guy's brains in. Well, this is a guy they've never seen before. Hopefully they'll gather some information in that first at bat and use it in subsequent at bats.
And talking about rookie right-hander Jacob Junis, who is yet to take the mound here. A little late getting started at Kauffman Stadium. Ray Fuentes in the lineup in center field. He spent the last two seasons in the Royals organization and played a handful of games with Kansas City here last year. Diamondbacks with a win tonight can assure themselves of a winning road record for the season. They are 40-39 on the road this year, coming into tonight's game at Kauffman Stadium.
Boy, partner, one thing to keep in mind here at Kauffman Stadium tonight, I took a lap around the ballpark. I hadn't had an opportunity to see everything here at Kauffman Stadium, and I was standing out in the left field corner, and the wind was howling out to left. Now, maybe it gets in the bowl and swirls around, but when I was standing out on the concourse in left field, I could feel that wind right in my face. So for Taijuan Walker, keep the ball away from the right-handed pull hitters and keep the ball down.
Yeah, there are the trademark fountains here at Kauffman Stadium. That wind is whipping in from the right field corner out toward that Royals Hall of Fame in the left field corner. We had almost no wind at the ball game last night, but a little bit of a blustery day here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the umpiring crew tonight. Chad Fairchild is behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. David Rackley at first base. The crew chief Larry Vanover is the second base umpire, and Alfonso Marquez is at third.
Now, my somewhat unreliable recollection is Chad Fairchild is very much a hitter's umpire. He calls a small zone from my recollection, so Taijuan Walker's going to have to be pretty exact with his command tonight.
Well, the Royals would like to win all three games in this series and get the sweep they won last night. They need all three wins to avoid a losing season. If they can win tonight and tomorrow, they would finish up the year 81-81. Right now they are long since lost in terms of postseason hopes, 22 games behind Cleveland in the American League Central Division. And the Royals are finally out there, and we are just about set to go. A look now at your Ram Truck starting pitcher for Kansas City, the rookie right-hander Jacob Junis. And this guy is something of an underdog story. He was a 29th round draft pick out of high school in Rock Falls, Illinois. He just turned 25 years old about 2 weeks ago and was described by one sports writer here as a rare bright spot in a late summer fade.
Yeah, how about that? You mentioned a 29th round draft pick. He had every intention of going to school at North Carolina State, playing collegiate baseball, but the Royals came back after watching him in summer ball and decided to make him an offer he could not refuse. And then made his way through the Royals minor league system. Relies heavily on a fastball. His best out pitch is a slider. He also throws a curve and a changeup, and he's been on that shuttle between Omaha and Kansas City 6 times already this year.
Back and forth from the minors to the majors, the bullpen to the rotation, but he's been a very bright spot here the last couple of months in a thin Royals rotation. So we'll get our look at Jacob Junis, who's supposed to have a very, very good slider. The pitch that's really made a difference for him. A look at the Kansas City defense tonight is presented by Nationwide Vision Center.
That's Jorge Bonifacio. He'll be playing right field tonight. Center fielder will be Lorenzo Cain. Left fielder Alex Gordon. Across the infield, Mike Moustakas at third base. Alcides Escobar at shortstop. Whit Merrifield at second base. Had a big night last night. Eric Hosmer over at first base. Cam Gallagher doing the catching for right-hander Jacob Junis.
And David Peralta steps in, and we are finally ready to get underway here on a Saturday night in Kansas City. David, 291 and 14 home runs. 0 for 3 with a walk last night. First pitch from Jacob Junis is sliced into left center. Gordon over to cut it off. Peralta thinking 2 here. And right away we get a look, Bob, at what you picked up on last night, those deep alleys here in left center and right center.
Yeah, I mean, outfielders naturally play a little deeper because they have a little bit more room, and when they pursue those balls in the gap, they're a long way from their intended target when they do finally get to the ball. This is a long throw for Alex Gordon. Tails to the shortstop side of the bag, and David's in at second base with a leadoff double.
And another nice round number, 30th double for the freight train. Gets us started. The shortstop tonight, Ketel Marte. 259. He's homered 5 times. Jumps on the first pitch again. This is hit pretty deep center field. Lorenzo Cain. It's up in that wind, and he makes a running grab. Peralta was halfway to third. That ball really got up in that wind, Bob, that you mentioned a moment ago. And look at Mike Moustakas. A big tip of the cap out there to the center fielder, Lorenzo Cain.
Boy, not only did he get a late break, he took a bad line to where he thought the ball was going to come down. But that speed is a wonderful thing. It allows you to make up for some mistakes in judgment. Right there, Cain altered his route to the ball, makes a nice running catch up against the barrier, and then hustles it back in to hold David at second base.
Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie had a rough night last night, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, right at an even 300. 36 homers and 120 runs batted in. There's that slider from Jacob Junis. It's 1-0.
That was a rough night for Goldie last night. Struck out his first 3 at bats in the ball game before hitting a line drive into right field in his final at bat. Finally barreled one up. Unfortunately hit it right at Melky Cabrera, or rather Paulo Orlando, who was playing right field at the time.
There's a fastball kind of rising there from Junis. We've seen Goldie. He's in one of those phases, it seems, where there's a lot of swing and miss. He struck out 11 times in his last 25 at bats, including those 3 punch-outs last night. Lifted in the air, very light sky. Bonifacio right field corner. Peralta's at second, and he'll tag up and head for third. Strong throw is in there, and David just does make it in safely, says Alfonso Marquez at third. Bonifacio made that close from deep right field.
I thought that was just an exercise in showcasing his throwing arm, but he made that a close play at third base. Should not have been close, but Bonifacio showing a big arm out there in right field, something to file away for future reference.
So Peralta's leadoff double has him at third now. 2 down for J.D. Martinez, hitting .305. 45 home runs and 104 runs batted in. And when you look at those numbers, keep in mind also, he didn't play his first game this year until May 12th. So add 6 weeks to J.D. Martinez, and then you get an idea of the kind of season he's having. J.D. doubled last night. He's hit safely in 7 straight games. 5 of those hits have been home runs. There's that slider from Junis. You'll see it a lot tonight. 1-1. Picked up a very effective slider in the minor leagues last year, Jacob Junis. And it's become a game changer for him. Fastball at 94, 1-2. He's always had a pretty good changeup, kind of a fringy curveball. But he's always been able to spot the fastball very well. Pretty consistent command, and now he started spinning that slider. And he has been terrific the last 2 months for Ned Yost. Ahead of Martinez, 1-2. Well, that was it. The slider, a big swing and a miss, and they strand the leadoff double. 9 pitches in the inning. D-backs, Taijuan Walker coming up. Goes for naught, so no score as we start the home half of the first inning. With the right-hander Taijuan Walker out there for the Diamondbacks, your Ram truck starting pitcher. And Taijuan tonight, a chance to finish 10-9 on the year, his 28th and final start in the regular season.
Yeah, 10's a nice round number. Looks a lot better on the back of your bubblegum card to be a winning pitcher in the 2017 season than a 500 pitcher. And certainly Taijuan has pitched better than a 500 pitcher this season. Has deserved a much better fate in many of his starts this year.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Kansas City lineup tonight.
Whit Merrifield with a single and a homer in the ball game last night will lead it off at second base. Lorenzo Cain out in center field. Eric Hosmer at first base. Mike Moustakas at third base. Jorge Bonifacio in right field. Brandon Moss will be the designated hitter with Alcides Escobar at short. Alex Gordon in left. Cam Gallagher doing the catching, and right-hander Jacob Junis on the mound.
Here is the second baseman, Whit Merrifield. A pair of hits last night. Jumps on the first pitch, skies it up. Very light sky right now. Descalso backing out there. 1 pitch, 1 out for Taijuan. Nationwide Vision Centers gives us a look at the Diamondbacks defense.
Peralta, Fuentes, and Martinez left to right across the outfield tonight. It'll be Jake Lamb at third. Ketel Marte and Daniel Descalso make up the double play combo up the middle. Paul Goldschmidt over at first base. Jeff Mathis behind the plate. We'll keep a close eye on him tonight. And Taijuan Walker on the mound.
Jeff Mathis's first game since August 21st, coming off that fractured right hand. Here is the center fielder, Lorenzo Cain. He jumps on the first pitch from Taijuan, fouls off a fastball.
One thing I noticed right away from Jeff Mathis, watch where his right hand goes after he gives the sign.
Hopefully behind him.
Yes. So far, so good.
Remember, that's how he broke it against the Mets at Citi Field. Had a Vulsion fracture for Jeff Mathis. That was August 21st. Dominic Smith in the 4th inning fouled a ball back that went right off Jeff's right hand, which was down in front of him. And he had to come out of the game. Sure enough, it was broken, and tonight his first game since. Taijuan powers up with a fastball and strikes out Lorenzo Cain. 2 down.
That's reminiscent of the Taijuan Walker we saw in the Cactus League. Just rear back and throw a 4-seam fastball at the top of the zone and see if Lorenzo Cain can catch up. That time he could not.
Yeah, that's the Taijuan that we saw in the Cactus League that just bullied guys, overpowered them start after start with that fastball. Hosmer tied for third in the American League with a .317 batting average. 24 homers. First pitch curveballs, a strike 0-1. Hosmer 1 for 4 last night. He opened up the scoring and a first inning RBI single against Zach Greinke. Greinke, as Torey Lovullo announced formally before the game today, will officially be the starter for Wednesday's wild card game. And they hope to have Jeff Mathis behind the plate catching Greinke in that game. This is a big test for Jeff tonight and tomorrow. See how that right hand is holding up. Hosmer second in the American League with 190 hits. He trails only Houston's Jose Altuve. 190 hits, a career high. Fouls off a fastball and it's 2-2. Mentioned yesterday, this is kind of a farewell weekend. There's a real nostalgia feel for the fan base here because the core of the team that won a World Series 2 years ago is breaking up. All of them, seemingly all of them, about to become free agents. And it would be unlikely that Kansas City could re-sign all of them or maybe even any of them. But Kane is a free agent, Hosmer's a free agent, Moustakas is a free agent, and the shortstop Escobar, all headed for the open market this winter.
That's how the game has changed. It was just a couple of years ago. We were talking about the core group of Royals. Back in the day, it used to be 10 or 15 years a core group would play together.
This is in the hole at third. Jake Lamb has it. And we'll head to the second inning. A 10-pitch first for Taijuan Walker. No score at Kauffman Stadium. Things official now. Zach Greinke will start the wild card game Wednesday, and the Diamondbacks will play the Colorado Rockies. The Brewers had a 6-0 lead in St. Louis, and the Cardinals scored 7 unanswered. So Milwaukee loses. The Rockies' magic number was 1, and that was the 1. So Colorado clinches the second National League wild card. It'll be the Diamondbacks and the Rockies Wednesday, Chase Field, in the National League wild card game.
Well, I think I speak for everybody when it's good to finally have some concrete evidence who we're going to play in that wild card game. But on the other side, I feel bad for Craig Counsell, but congratulations are in order. Nobody, I mean nobody, expected the Brewers to do what they did this year. They were in contention in that division up until a couple weeks ago, and in the wild card race right up until the next to the last day of the season. So congratulations in order for the Brewers and Craig Counsell.
Absolutely. They had a tremendous year. Here's Jake Lamb, who bounces one up the middle. Escobar is there, the shortstop, to throw him out. And that's 4 in a row retired by Jacob Junis. T-Mobile provides deeper coverage. Now, the Rockies still have a game to play. They're hosting the Dodgers. And if they wanted to, they could change pitchers. They could do whatever they want to try and line up somebody for a Wednesday. Maybe Yerman Marquez. They could have John Gray on long rest. They have some options now. So 7-6 is the final. Milwaukee had a 6-0 lead in St. Louis. So the Rockies win the second in a wild card. A.J. Pollock, the DH tonight. A.J. on base 3 times last night. He walked and singled twice. .267, 13 home runs.
Yeah, just pointed out 5 teams in the National League West. 3 of them are going to the postseason.
3-1 division.
How about that?
The best teams go. That's another good thing about the current wild card format. A great emphasis on winning your division, as it should be. And you need to penalize the teams that don't win their divisions, but at the same time reward them. I think the most important thing that I always tell fans, Bob, when they ask me about the wild card format, is this: all postseason teams are not created equal, and frankly shouldn't be. I think you need to reward division winners. That winning the division needs to mean something. And so the road that they've created for the wild card teams is a little more difficult.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. You know, I think if you grind over 162 games and end up at the top of your division, there should be some kind of a reward. And not that wild card teams back into the playoffs, because certainly they've earned their spot given the rules that are in place right now. But yeah, there should be some kind of reward for winning your division.
1-2 on Pollock. Rookie Jacob Junis out there for Kansas City. And it creates that event, winner take all sort of big primetime TV night that baseball could use. Tuesday in the American League, Wednesday in the National League, the 2 wild card games.
Sit.
Right center trying to get down, but Bonifacio tracks it down in the gap. 2 outs.
Sometimes you got to talk to them. That time it didn't work.
They don't listen.
Get down.
These kids, they never listen. 5 in a row retired. Here's Descalso. Daniel, 233, 10 home runs. 0 for 4 in his start at second base last night. Hear a lot of people complain about a 1-game wild card game. Well, it's not fair. It's baseball. You should play more than 1 game. You want to avoid that trap, win your division.
Yep. I mean, it might not be the brass ring that every team looks for when the season starts, but it's something. You know, it gives you a chance to get in the door. That's what we've heard from the Diamondbacks and for all the teams that have been battling for a wild card spot, both in the National and American League. Just get there.
And the track record for the wild card teams getting deep into the postseason has been very solid. Bottom 2 coming up, no score in KC. no score. What's next? It's now official. The Brewers' loss in St. Louis has clinched the second National League wild card for the Colorado Rockies, and this will be the matchup in the NL wild card game Wednesday in Phoenix. D-backs won the season series for the Rockies 11-8. They split 10 games at Chase Field 5-5. J.D. Martinez did a whole lot of damage against Colorado pitching. Mike Moustakas leads off the second against Taijuan Walker. Now the Rockies have a game scheduled for 8:10 Eastern tonight at Coors Field. They're hosting the Dodgers. That scheduled pitching matchup, Clayton Kershaw and Germán Marquez, who's been very good for Colorado, 11-7 this year. You could conceivably, I guess if you're Bud Black, sit Marquez if you wanted him to pitch Wednesday. You've also got John Gray, who should be ready to go for that game. We'll see how the Rockies decide to play.
Yeah, I guess you could use tonight as a tune-up for Marquez if you wanted to run him out there for 25 or 30 pitches, just almost a glorified side session.
You don't have to burn him tonight. You catch a break there if you're Colorado.
Turn it into a bullpen night.
Shift is on against Moustakas, who had 3 hits last night, all singles. 38 home runs for Moustakas, a new single season Royals record. 85 RBIs, both those numbers career highs. Here's Ketel Marte, the shortstop, right in front of second base umpire Larry Vanover out there. Tries to hit it away from the shift. A nice backhand by Lamb and a good scoop by Goldie. They get Moustakas to open up the home half of the second. Jake Lamb looking like a shortstop on that one.
Well, the ground ball's a ground ball regardless of where you're positioned on that infield. Nice backhanded play, throws on the move. Goldie with a nice pick at the other end. You see Jake right there with the fingers. He's asking, will this guy bunt and can he run? That will determine how deep he can play at his third base position for a right-handed pull hitter.
It's Jorge Bonifacio, the rookie right fielder. He's got some power. He's a big dude up there. 252 and 16 home runs. Bonifacio only has 1 stolen base on the year. More of a power hitter than a speedy outfielder type. Fastball misses in. It's a ball and a strike.
He looks more like a power hitter than a speedy outfield type.
Doesn't he?
He's a big dude.
24 years old. 6'1", 195 is the official listing for Jorge Bonifacio. Yeah, I'm not buying that either. Boy, that is a rocket foul down the third base line. A hanging cutter there from Taijuan Walker. Taijuan, same deal as Zach Greinke last night. The outing will be cut short. Torey Lovello told us before the game today. They'll look to get Taijuan out of the ball game right around 80 pitches. Fastball is called. Strike 3, his second strikeout. Bonifacio caught looking. And a word there for Chad Fairchild.
Maybe concerning the delay between the pitch and the actual call, as Chad Fairchild stands up and very casually rings up Bonifacio, second out of the inning.
Not much doubt about that one. Good start for Taijuan. 5 up, 5 down. Here's the DH, Brandon Moss. 210 and 22 homers. Taijuan's had some success stealing strike 1 with that curveball so far. Moss last night singled, walked, and struck out twice. Backs that up with a fastball away, and it's 0-2. Brandon Moss, the veteran, 34 years old. Parts of 11 seasons in the major leagues. Checks his swing on the curveball. Didn't go, says Alfonso Marquez, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lost the handle on a fastball. Full count 3-2. Escobar, the shortstop, on deck. Very comfortable night here, but you can sort of feel October right on the horizon. There's that big slow curveball. 3 strikeouts for Taijuan Walker. No score in Kansas City after 2. That fastball, the curveball has looked good. 2 scoreless innings, 3 strikeouts so far. The D-backs fought for postseason. They are in the wild card game. They'll host the Rockies Wednesday at Chase Field. Tickets sold out in about 1 hour. But fans, you can still guarantee yourself a seat. Buy 2018 season tickets, and you'll guarantee a seat for the wild card and the division series games. Visit dbacks.com/season tickets. Ray Fuentes in center field today. Leads off the 3rd against rookie right-hander Jacob Junis. Ray 241, 3 homers. Junis threw 2 innings, 22 pitches, 17 for strikes. He is a strike thrower. But behind on Fuentes, 2-0. That's fouled off. This is a young man who was a very good high school basketball player in Rock Falls, Illinois. That's about 100 miles or so west of Chicago. He was a Division I basketball prospect and was going to play basketball and baseball at North Carolina State. Royals drafted him pretty late, 29th round out of high school, but they paid him way over slot. About $675,000 to skip college and commit to baseball, which was his true passion anyway. Drops a fastball in there, full count 3-2.
I know a guy that went to North Carolina State and played baseball and basketball. Tim Stoddard.
That's it.
There you go.
The big Oriole.
Yeah. I believe Tim Stoddard is still the pitching coach at Northwestern.
Roll to first for Hosmer. Junis gets over there. 7 straight retired by Junis. Here's Jeff Matheson. We'll get our first look at Jeff at the plate, and this is sort of the last real test for that right hand fractured. Can he hit with the right hand? His first appearance since August 21st. 213, 2 home runs, reinstated from the disabled list today.
Given the fact Jeff is coming back from a hand injury and there is no mercy in this game, I would expect the Royals to try to pound him inside with a fastball, see how that hand responds to high velocity inside.
Fastball missed down and away, 1-0. An avulsion fracture in his right hand, meaning the ligament came off the bone, and along with it fragments of the bone, so that sounds painful. Had to leave the game against the Mets in New York August 21st when Dominic Smith fouled the ball off his throwing hand in the 4th inning of that game. That's the right hand. And Jeff Mathis is back. He dunks one into left center. Gordon over there to cut it off, and Mathis has a single. Welcome back.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's a good sign. They love it in the dugout.
Yeah, we weren't quite sure what to expect. I don't know if Jeff Mathis knew what to expect going out there facing live pitching for the first time since August 21st, but got a hanging slider that time and did what you're supposed to do with hanging breaking balls. Bang it out there into the outfield for a base hit.
Boy, that's got to be encouraging for Jeff. Here's David Peralta, who doubled on the first pitch to lead off the ball game. Curveball's a strike, 0-1. David's double his 30th of the year. That's blasted down the left field or right field line and just foul, says David Rackley down there. 0-2 on Peralta. Starting to get dark now, just about 10 minutes of 7 local time. Lights have been on all afternoon. Starting to cool down just a bit too.
Yeah, you said it earlier. You can tell fall is just around the corner. Beautiful day here in Kansas City, sunny and warm, but just in the background, just a little bit of chill in the air.
Flails at a slider. That's a real good pitch for Junis. And he gets his second strikeout.
He throws it hard, has a lot of downward movement, very tight rotation. You can see why that's his go-to pitch.
Shortstop Ketel Marte flied out deep to center field his first time up. A ball that Lorenzo Cain ran down just shy of the wall out there in the deepest part of the ballpark. It's 410 to straightaway center here. The wind has calmed down just a bit. It's still out there, but not gusting the way it was when we started the ball game. Marte's ball got up in that wind and almost blew right over Cain's head. Another one for Cain in center, broke in and now drifts over to left center field. He's got it. They strand the 1-out single. No score, D-backs and Royals here at Kauffman Stadium.
Jeff Mathis back behind the plate off the disabled list. And we noticed earlier in the ballgame our State Farm winning combo. A winning combo is having two working hands. You see on the left, that's the game he got hurt in New York. Got the foul ball off the bare hand, the right hand. And the one on the right is today. He's hiding that hand behind his back. Boy, I wish he would have done that back on August 21st.
You surprised a veteran guy like that had that happen to him the way it did? Here is Escobar, who lines that over the head of Marte at shortstop and into left. First hit for the Royals.
You know, for some guys, it's just a force of habit. They don't really think about it. If you don't get hit on that hand for long periods of time, you kind of forget that you're in harm's way with that throwing hand just dangling up there in foul ball territory. All it takes is one off the knuckles like he's had this year. He'll probably have that hand behind his back for the rest of his career.
Oh, hopefully, yeah. Alex Gordon, the left fielder, 210, 9 homers, hitless last night. He walked and struck out. It was again August 21st against the Mets. Dominic Smith, the hitter. And that foul ball got him right on that right hand. Ouch. An avulsion fracture, so the ligament comes right off the bone, and along with it fragments of the bone, which sound very unpleasant. But Jeff is back tonight, back behind the plate. He singled in his first at bat, so that's a great sign.
And with a man on base, he's got that hand out there exposed again. We talked about it before. I was always taught to keep the meat hand behind the glove when you have a runner on base. That way you're as close to the ball as you can possibly be when you receive it, and you offer some protection for that throwing hand behind the glove.
Yeah, it's in that same spot. Is that a sign maybe that he's not even thinking about it?
That could be, yeah. And ideally that's what you want. You never want a player coming back from injury at any position to be thinking about the injury itself. Just play the game.
But yeah, I'm with you. You'd like to see that right hand behind the back. Still out there in front, right behind the mitt. Long set by Walker. Fastball missed. 3-1. Taiwan had been doing a very good job with his fastball command through the first 2 innings. Was spotting it really well, elevating, got a couple of strikeouts, but a base hit by Escobar now behind on Gordon. 3-1 with the catcher Cam Gallagher on deck. Just making sure Escobar is not getting started early with a full count on Gordon. 3-2. Taiwan only 25 pitches through the first 2 innings, 16 for strikes. Pitch count round about 80 tonight. And that curveball's been very effective for him so far. He's got 4 strikeouts.
Curveball, one of those they call a feel pitch. Sometimes you're a little out in front and you bounce it in the dirt. Sometimes your arm is a little behind and you leave it up in the zone. But when the feel is good and you're dropping that ball in the strike zone the way Taiwan is tonight, that's going to be a real valuable weapon for him.
Cam Gallagher, the catcher, 286 and a homer. Just 12 games with the Royals this season. 24-year-old rookie. Salvador Perez, their regular all-star catcher, out with a slight groin injury. Gallagher caught the tail end of last night's ball game but did not get an at bat. Missed with a cut fastball. That slider really 1-0. Taiwan's slider moves a lot like a cutter, and he throws it so hard it often shows up like a cut fastball might. But he calls it a slider. Bury that fastball down and away. It's 1-1. Gallagher 6 for 21 to start his big league career. He played almost this entire season with AAA Omaha. Hit .292 there, 5 homers. Dots a fastball, and it's 1-2. This is as good, Bob, I think we've seen Taijuan Walker's fastball command in quite some time.
Yeah, especially early in the ball game. It's not uncommon to see Taijuan struggle with his release point in the first couple innings of a game until he can find that strike zone, but right out of the chute tonight, pounding that zone.
Yeah, he has lost his last 2 starts. Oh boy, I think that one just got the governor. A foul ball right into the Diamondback radio booth, and there's Tom Candiotti with a knuckleball grip. Outstanding catch by the Candy Man, working D-backs radio next to the governor, Greg Schulte. There's the governor on the right. Candy threw that with his knuckleball grip.
Yeah, he did. I saw that right away. Went to the knuckleball grip.
Well, old habits die hard.
Maybe that's why the guy in the stands couldn't catch it. Needed the big knuckleball mitt. He tried to toss it down to a fan who dropped it. Fortunately, a kid got it. Nice going, Candy.
Well, we have a moment. We want to wish a very happy birthday to the great Leo Gilmartin. There he is, top of your picture, our radio engineer extraordinaire. It's Leo's birthday today. So happy birthday, Leo.
Well, shares a birthday with Diamondbacks hitting coach Dave Magadan, and
Yeah.
the 2 of them were hooping it up this morning.
Boy, Torrey was really excited. The coaches and some of the trainers, Roger Riley, they all went out to Kansas. They got to meet Bill Self, the Jayhawks coach. There he is in the blue shirt in the middle there next to Torrey, and they got to play on the actual court where tonight I think they're supposed to have their Midnight Madness for Kansas basketball. Sweet. So there is Leo on the far left there next to Mike Fetters, and the whole crew got to hoop it up in Lawrence, Kansas. That's a big deal. Here's Whit Merrifield, the leadoff man. Apparently, Nate Shaw, the strength and conditioning coach, set some devastating picks in that game. And nobody wants to guard him because he'll body you up, and there's a lot of guys that are still sore.
Yeah, there's one in every group. You know, you play a pickup game, and some guy thinks it's the NBA Finals.
Well, you got the strength coach there with these just brick wall picks that he's setting, and guys are dropping like flies. 1-1 on Merrifield, who popped up on the first pitch of his first at bat. His home run off Zach Greinke in that 3rd inning last night turned out to be the difference in the ball game, a 2-1 Royals win. Merrifield's 19th of the year. Old Tapper went back to that curveball. Taijuan Walker, 3 very impressive innings so far. No score in Kansas City.
And I guess you could call it. I'm alongside Archie Bradley's parents, Pam and Charles Bradley, and now Broken Arrow, Oklahoma is not terribly far, so you guys brought a bunch of people, right?
We have several people up here, up to tonight about 36, yesterday about 23, tomorrow about 25. So a lot of fans for Archie. A lot of good folks are here from Oklahoma.
It's been an amazing year, and you know the first thing my producer Brad Weimer said, he's got a beard too, so this is where the beard comes from.
Well, I've had beards throughout my life, and since he was going in postseason, I was hoping he would. I started growing mine because everybody kept on asking me, "Can you grow a beard?" I said, well, yeah, "I can grow a beard." So it's not as it's kind of bleached out right now, but it's still a beard.
Well, I know you guys are so proud of Archie. We've talked to you. I mean, I remember you were on our telecast during his first start of his career in the majors, which was at Chase. And just Pam, what do you feel when you watch him out there becoming the leader of this team and kind of doing all the things he's done, not just to bond the team, but the fans?
Well, as a mom, it makes my heart happy. That may sound really silly and really corny, but what every mom hopes to see is her son or her child growing up to be the best person, you know, that they can be. And so seeing Archie be a leader, seeing him enjoying life, seeing him try to lead in a positive way, watching him interact with the fans and children in such a positive way. I mean, that's what we want to see. We want to see that he's not just a great athlete, but a great person first.
He's certainly been a fan favorite. They just love it, not only when it comes into pitch, but just anytime he talks and gives interviews, things like that. So are you all set for Wednesday?
Oh, we are. In fact, we have our tickets ready to go to LA after. We're expecting to go all the way. We're bringing home a World Series ring. Get ready, D-backs. We're going to do it.
I love that confidence. I see that coming through when Archie talks too. You feel the same way? You feel very confident?
Exactly. I mean, he's told us all along this season is so much different, that the whole atmosphere in the dugout and the locker room is a team sport. Everybody's behind it. The manager, Torrey is just doing a great job keeping this team motivated, and it's just the feel is good. I talked to Jake Lamb as well, and he's on the same page. He said this is a fun season. This is just good.
You know what they say, right? You know the saying that Archie has come up with. It's from the song. It's a vibe. Is that?
Well, the shirts.
You got the shirt.
Yeah, I did yesterday. I had the It's a Vibe shirt on, but it is. It's a winning vibe. It's a great vibe. It's a team vibe, and I think that's what's making the difference.
Well, and I have to ask you, it's been a while since we chatted, but just going from starter to the bullpen in this role that he is in, what's it been like for you to watch? Because it's a change for him, obviously.
Mm-hmm. It is, but again, I love his attitude, because whatever it is he's asked to do, he's ready to jump in and do his best. And that's what he said to us. He said, I would love to be a starter, but they've assigned me this role. I want to go out there and be the best reliever I can. I want to help my team win. And again, that's what it's about, the right attitude, not just being the best player, but being the right player and looking out for the good of the team. That's what matters most.
And the day that the D-backs clinched, Archie said to the fans that many of them had stayed for the celebration, you know, we all want you here for the wild card game. So are you going to be able to bring all these people with you?
No, that doesn't work. We're going to get his brother and one of his sisters are coming out. So it's just going to be 4 of us right now, which we're really excited about. And it's just going to be a fun atmosphere. We can't wait. But we do have to wait. But hopefully this game, everything right now is preparing them for the wild card game. No, it's a great feel, and like I said, it's just real exciting for the whole family and for the fans back home in Oklahoma that Archie doesn't really know, but there's guys watching all over the place that know us, and they're watching him. They tell me all the time, and Archie goes, "Who is that?" I said, "Well, it's just friends," and they're real excited for you. So it's a real exciting time.
He has brought a vibe. He's brought a lot of fun. And you know what, guys, is just thanks so much for coming on and chatting with me today. We look forward to seeing you out there Wednesday.
Thank you. We're excited. Go D-backs. It's taken a whole team, and we're going to do it. So we're excited. Thank you.
Pam and
Nation, let's go.
There you go. I love the confidence. Guys, we'll send it back up to you. I've crashed the family party a little bit here, so I don't want to take up too much time down here, but the Bradleys and, it's true, Archie, so many friends and family from the Oklahoma area here to be able to share this weekend with him, which is pretty cool as well.
All right, Jody, thanks so much. Here's Archie's roommate, Jake Lamb, after J.D. Martinez had the one-out single. Jake grounded out his first time up. He's down 0-2. I had a manager tell me once, talking about scouting prospects, and is this guy going to be a player, this and that. He said the one thing that is the same for every scout, every talent evaluator, you're at the mercy of the moms and dads. And you can see why Archie's been so successful there. He's got a lot of support, terrific family.
That's something a lot of scouts pay close attention to. How does the guy relate to his family? How are his mom and dad, brothers and sisters, classmates in school? How does he respond to the people that are closest to him in life?
Big support system there in Broken Arrow, and everybody watching Diamondback baseball supporting Archie Bradley. It's a vibe. That's the new saying. You vibing?
Sure.
2-2 on Lamb.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Ooh, watch out.
That one got him. So Jake Lamb hit by the pitch. 2 on, 1 out now for A.J. Pollock. A.J. the DH tonight. He flied out his first time up. Ned Yost taking a look at this one. No challenge from Kansas City. So Martinez at second and Lamb at first. 1 out for AJ. AJ on base 3 times last night. He's been hot lately. Last 15 games, he's hitting almost 340. 16 RBIs in his last 15 games. A.J. Pollock, a chance to give the D-backs the lead right here. Zoe Lovello's team looking for win number 93 on the season in game 161. We finish up here tomorrow. And then the wild card game against the Colorado Rockies, who tonight have clinched the second National League wild card spot by virtue of the Brewers' loss in St. Louis. So that Rockies game tonight against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers now effectively meaningless. Colorado is in. There's that slider, missed with it, 1-2.
And for a while there was some question as to who would have home field advantage in the National League. The Nationals and the Dodgers were very close for a while, but the Dodgers have kind of pulled away now and will have home field advantage throughout the postseason.
Good. I think Diamondbacks would really like to get another crack at the Dodgers after sweeping LA the last 2 times they faced them. That's the 3rd strikeout for Junis as Pollock goes down. That'll bring up Daniel Descalso.
I think AJ's wondering if that ball hit the dirt before it went into the mid of Cam Gallagher behind the plate. Real slow walk back to the dugout that time.
That's not subject to review. Can't challenge anything around home plate like that. Descalso grounded out his first time up. 2 on and 2 out.
We don't want to get them all right, just some of them.
Yeah, that's made 0 to little sense about. You can't challenge anything like that. Like, did it hit the ground before it hit the mid and things like that around the home plate area? Or oftentimes the plate umpire is screened by the catcher.
Sure. Yeah.
Through no fault of his own. But they don't review anything around there other than hit by pitch. Fastball missed. It's 1-1 on Descalso. Yeah, never quite sure why that is. Another slider, and it's 1-2. Daniel in a 1 for 26 skid right now. 0 for 4 last night. Martinez, the runner at second, and Lamb at first. And back to that slider, tried to drop it in there but missed, and it's 2-2. Boy, Junis loves to throw that slider. It's a real spinner. And a Above average slider. It's a swing and miss pitch for him against both lefties and righties. Elevates the fastball. Descalso can check, and Junis strands two. Still no score in Kansas City. Kansas City, the D-backs and the Royals. Hey fans, the postseason is almost here, where every pitch, hit, and strikeout matters every out. Inning and game has led to this. And the only thing that matters now is October. We're almost there. The American League Division Series begins Thursday, only on FS1. Yankees and Twins will play the American League wild card game. The winner will advance to the American League Division Series against Cleveland, right?
I believe that's right. The Red Sox will travel to Houston to open their series.
I believe that game will be Verlander and Sale. How about that? Lorenzo Cain leads off the fourth.
Well, usually this time of year in the postseason, you see a bunch of great pitching matchups. Because you're not going to see the 4 and 5 starters, probably, unless it's pitching out of the bullpen. You're just going to see the cream of the crop for every postseason team.
It's a whole month of postseason baseball, man. I love watching those games. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 on in one day, and you get those big matchups that you mentioned. It's a lot of fun to watch in October, and hopefully we'll watch a whole bunch of Diamondback games next month.
I've told the story before. When I was working in Chicago, we used to drive back to Phoenix at the end of the regular season, and boy, during the postseason, that would kill a whole day. You'd have back-to-back games that would get you all the way to Oklahoma City the first day and then into Phoenix the next day.
Baseball on the radio. He didn't go, says David Rackley down there, and it's 2-2 on Cain, the center fielder who struck out his first time up. Taijuan Walker so far has had outstanding fastball command and a very good curveball. He's got 5 strikeouts so far. Whoa! Right under the whiskers.
Ooh, hit the mascot.
Yeah. Boy,
and the way that hit the backstop, that made a loud noise.
Look at the
the lady in the front row.
reaction on the woman's face. We may need to see that again, Brad Weimer. The poor young lady sitting back there couldn't believe it. Ball was coming right at her. 3-2 to Cain. Oh, he tried that slow curveball, and Cain can't keep it fair. Watch the expression on the woman in the first row. Right there. Everybody's okay. I'm not sure she's recovered emotionally from that, frankly. But you want to sit front row behind home plate, that's going to happen.
Yeah, if you want to hit in the big leagues, that's going to happen.
Still going on 3-2 to Lorenzo Cain. He lost him. First walk issued by Taiwan tonight. And now he'll work to Eric Hosmer. Hosmer grounded out his first time up tonight. Cain only the second base runner for the Royals in a ball game. Taiwan has been really in a nice rhythm out there pitching for the windup, and now he goes to the stretch to start the fourth. And it's 1-0 on Hosmer, the big first baseman.
All right, in a game where the pitchers have dominated up to this point, look to see Lorenzo Cain try to get a jump and steal a base over there. 25 out of 27 on the season, and Taiwan Walker's thinking the same way.
Yeah, any cadence and rhythm that Taiwan had enjoyed the first 3 innings is off the books right now. Got Hosmer up there, 190 hits, second in the American League. Cain holds, fastball misses, and it's 2-0. Now he's falling behind in counts. Got some good hitters coming up. Moustakas on deck. 50 pitches, 30 strikes. It's going to be a short night for Taiwan. They'd like to get him out of there sometime just before 80 pitches. And now here's Jeff Mathis out to have a word.
Boy, a close call during that Lorenzo Cain at bat. One of the foul balls early in the sequence. Watch how close this comes to Jeff Mathis. Oh, man.
Hand is still in that same danger zone. Ooh. Boy, Bob, he's right back to the old habits. It only lasted about a half inning with that hand back there behind him.
Yeah, once again, with a runner on base, you have to be prepared to throw should Cain break for second base, so your hand has to be a little closer to the glove. But
Hosmer, as he so often does with that opposite field approach, just rolls one through into left field. A walk and a single open up the Kansas City fourth. And you hear the Moose chants for Mike Moustakas. Moustakas, a ground out victim his first time. 38 home runs, a new single season Royals record. Breaking the mark that was previously held by Steve Balboni. 2 on and no outs to start the Royal fourth. There goes Cain into third. And he's in there with a stolen base. His 26th, Lorenzo Cain. Hosmer stays put at first.
that's a nice play by Jake Lamb at the tail end of this play. Cain had a big jump. Jeff tries to throw from his knees. And Jake Lamb keeps that ball out of left field for the time being, keeping the Royals off the board. That could have easily been an E2. That ball rolling down the left field line, a run in and a runner at second base, but a nice play by Jake to keep it on the infield.
First time we've seen Jeff Mathis have to make a throw coming off that fractured right hand. 0-1 on Moustakas. Double play ball here. Descalso, Marte, and they'll turn it. Cain comes in with the first run of the ball game.
At 90 feet, the stolen base by Lorenzo Cain pays instant dividends for the Royals as he comes around to score on that double play ball. No RBI from Moustakas because he grounded into the double play.
So a run is in, bases empty, 2 outs for the right fielder, the rookie Jorge Bonifacio, who struck out looking at a fastball his first time up. Boy, Taiwan really favoring that first pitch curveball tonight. Even the second time through the order, he's done that a whole bunch. And it's been a very effective pitch for him, first pitch of the at-bat.
Well, because of his time in the American League, a number of these Royals have had, 5, 6, 8, 10 at-bats against Taijuan Walker. They know he's a fastball pitcher. Everything works off of that heater. So the more secondary pitches he can throw for strikes against his team, the better off he's going to be.
Threw a really good splitter right there, and he's ahead 0-2. Mathis wanted that fastball elevated. Bonifacio lays off, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. He didn't go. David Rackley at first. It's 2-2. There was the curveball. Brandon Moss, the DH, would be next. Tried another splitter, and now it's full 3-2. Bonifacio, a rookie, 16 home runs this year. Lamb at third, long throw. Goldie kept the foot on the bag. Ned Yost with his hand up. They're having a look in the Royals dugout. There's Don Wakamatsu, the bench coach.
Yeah, throw kind of sailed on Jake Lamb that time. Nice backhanded stop, rights himself, and then the throw just kind of took off, but Goldie able to stretch out. I'm betting he kept his foot on the bag.
That was awfully close down there as well.
Tick tock, tick tock.
You only get 30 seconds. Yes or no? What are you doing here? And the clock has been at 0 for a while now. I think that might be what Larry Vanover is coming to tell them. No challenge from the Royals. Kansas City takes a 1-0 lead. Fans, the most popular way to follow Diamondbacks the rest of the regular season and in the postseason with MLB.com at bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. You'll enjoy game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, the whole thing. Download MLB.com at bat today, the #1 app for live baseball all the way through the postseason. Eric Hosmer checking out of the ball game. He was sent back out there to start the inning in what might be one of his final games as a Kansas City Royal. So we've got a new first baseman now. Cuthbert is out there as Ray Fuentes leads it off for the Diamondbacks. Cheslor Cuthbert takes over at first base as Eric Hosmer gets a big send-off here. You would think we would at least see him for part of the game tomorrow, but maybe Ned Yost giving him an extra chance to get a standing ovation as he heads into free agency this winter.
Yeah, when I was playing with the Giants, we finished the season with the Tommy Lasorda Dodgers one year, and Tommy did this every half inning. They would take the field defensively. The pitcher would throw his warm-up pitches. We'd throw the ball down to second base. The batter would get in the box, and Tommy would step out of the dugout and call timeout, and one at a time call his players off the field so they could get a round of applause from the home fans at Dodger Stadium.
Well, it seems to have thrown Jacob Junis just a bit. A very quick walk to Ray Fuentes. And now here's our second look tonight at Jeff Mathis, who's back off the DL, coming off that broken hand. He singled into left center his first time up, which was a very good sign. That's what we're thinking anyway. That broken bone in his hand had still been affecting him most when he hits. And that base hit in the third inning was a great sign for Jeff.
I mean, Torey Lovullo has shown this season he's not a huge believer in the sacrifice bunt. There are certain situations and certain game situations where he will put down a bunt. But with Jeff Mathis coming back from the broken hand, you get the feeling that maybe we'll see some sac bunts, maybe even some bunts for base hit out of Jeff Mathis moving forward. I've seen that happen before when guys have suffered a hand injury and come back off the disabled list and they still aren't quite at 100%. Especially swinging the bat, so they incorporate the bunt into their game a little bit more.
You can see Jeff is wearing that thumb ring around his right thumb. Here's that thumb guard on there to that helps with the vibrations.
It's more for guys that tend to really choke the bat back into the palm of their right hand, and when you get jammed, it really bruises that big muscle at the base of your thumb, and once that muscle is bruised, it stays bruised all summer.
Swing and a miss at the fastball. 5 strikeouts for Junis, 1 down to the 5th. David Peralta, the leadoff man, has doubled and struck out tonight. D-backs have out hit the Royals 3-2, but they trail it 1-0.
Good speed on it first, and we talked about the big gaps here at Kauffman Stadium in the ball game last night, about 11 feet deeper in right center and left center. Big jump.
Fuentes takes off for second. To throw by Gallagher is not in time, and Ray has got his 4th stolen base. Rookie Cam Gallagher back there for Kansas City.
Well, his pitcher didn't give him much of a chance that time. Ray Fuentes just kept going. Got a little bit of a walking lead right into his sprint to second base. Unfortunately, that ball hit Ray. It was going to go into center field on a short hop, but it hit Ray and stayed right there at second base.
2-0 on Peralta. That is fair, and it's by Cuthbert down the right field line. Fuentes will score to tie the game, and David Peralta's got his 2nd double tonight. His 31st of the year, and it's 1-1.
Well, another stolen base that looms large in this ball game. Lorenzo Cain stole third base and scored on a double play ball for the Royals. And now Ray Fuentes steals second base and scores on the double by David Peralta. Not sure he could have scored from first base on this ball.
And we've seen Bonifacio has a big arm out there in right for Kansas City. Ketel Marte 0 for 2. Slow changeup starts him off. 0-1. Backs it up with a fastball. It's a ball and a strike. One thing the Royals coaches have liked about rookie Jacob Junis is he's got a very slow heartbeat. He's a guy that can slow things down, not let any situation rattle him when he's got traffic around him on the bases.
Junis gives a lot of credit for that from playing travel ball as a youngster. He said he played in Japan. He's played all over the United States of America, traveling with the team as a youngster. So, you know, getting on a plane and flying to Japan and pitching, you know,
how about that?
If you can slow your heartbeat down for that, this is nothing.
That was a shot of Dave Island, the pitching coach, a moment ago. 2-1 on Ketel Marte. Center field, Lorenzo Cain drifting back toward the track. Peralta will tag and head for third. Ned Yost was saying that Junis reminds him a lot of Cleveland's Corey Kluber because they've got no personality. You know, they call Kluber Klubot because he just goes out there and is devastating time after time, and nothing ever seems to rattle him, kind of like a robot. And they think Junis has kind of got that same makeup. 25-year-old rookie, just turned 25 about 10 days ago. There's Ned Yost, World Series champion 2 years ago. A run is in. Peralta's at third. 2 outs for Goldie, who's 0 for 2. If a pitcher is like that, especially a young guy like Junis, and they don't seem to get rattled, do you, as the manager, then trust them a little bit more than you might some other guys?
Yeah, you might extend them a little bit more in a ball game if that's the case. I mean, when you think about it, there's a lot of pitchers that have major league stuff. The guys that separate themselves are guys like Jeff Junis or the guy from Cleveland, Klubot, Zach Greinke, guys that can not only have good stuff, but they know how to use it and they don't get rattled. A lot of times a guy have a big fastball in the upper 90s, a snapdragon curveball, but you put a couple of runners on base, put a guy in scoring position, and all of a sudden that rotator cuff gets a little tight and the strike zone gets a little smaller, and all of a sudden they're out of the ball game wondering what happened. The good ones find a way to pitch through the trouble.
Fastball misses in, and Goldie's ahead 3-1. I think they have that here in young Jacob Junis. JD Martinez singled his last time up, hoping to get a chance here. 3-1 to Goldie. Trying to get Peralta home from third. Missed with a fastball down and away, and a chance for JD. Second walk of the ball game for Junis, both in this inning. And here comes Martinez, who was struck out in single. Peralta's at third following his RBI double, and Goldie at first after a 2-out walk. Lorenzo Cain standing in right center field. Royals have seen plenty of JD Martinez over the years, having played in the same division with the Tigers. Here's a good shot at Kauffman Stadium here. JD with his 4th inning single has now hit safely in 8 straight games. Bouncing ball to third. Moustakas, they go the short way for the force on Goldie, and Merrifield just able to get a foot down. But the Diamondbacks get the equalizer. We're tied at 1.
Baseball history, you know that guy. George Brett on this day in 1992 picked up his 3,000th career hit. Now, as a footnote, in the celebration and the high fives and the hugs that entailed here, George Brett absent-mindedly stepped off the bag and was picked off first base.
You're making that up.
No.
Come on.
Gary Gaetti playing first base for the Angels at the time, and they picked him off.
And it is George Brett bobblehead night here tonight at Kauffman Stadium to commemorate that moment. There's the statue out there in center field. Brandon Moss, the DH, fouls that one off to start the home half of the fifth.
Just another 4-hit game for George Brett on this day in 1992. There's George.
There is the bobblehead. Kind of looks like Nixon, doesn't he? like he's getting on the helicopter.
Yeah.
0-2.
Well, that is a must-have item for these Royals fans. As you know, partner, we pulled in on the bus about 2.5 hours before game time, and there were literally tens of thousands of people waiting in line to be the first to come in and get their George Brett bobblehead.
Yeah, they gave away 20,000 tonight, and they didn't open the gates till late. Yeah, they were lined up down the block and around the corner. Everybody wearing royal blue. Got a football game going on right now across the parking lot at Arrowhead Stadium, a college football game. Central Northwest Missouri State against Northeast Missouri A&I or something. So it's a little crowded out there today.
Still plenty of parking.
Good seats still available. He didn't go, Alfonso Marquez, and it's full on Moss 3-2. Yeah, it is quite a sight when you pull in along the highway. The highway, the main highway going into downtown Kansas City, runs above and just behind the ballpark here, behind center field. And when you drive in, you get a big view of everything here. As Moss hits it on the ground to Descalso from the outfield grass. And it looks like two spaceships landed in this enormous parking lot. And you've got the football stadium and the baseball stadium right next to each other here. There's the universal sign for he's ready. Mike Fetters, the bullpen coach, waving his cap toward the dugout. J.J. Hoover warming up the Diamondback bullpen. They'd like to get Taiwan out of there before he gets to 80 pitches, but it's kind of a soft cap right now. See if he can finish off the fifth inning.
You talk about that freeway beyond the center field fence here at Kauffman Stadium. I remember driving from Fresno, California after an A-ball season back to Ohio and going right by this ballpark.
Yeah, you do. You go zoom, right? It's pretty cool, actually.
And looking in there and telling my wife, Joan, hopefully someday I'll get to play a ball game in that park.
Did you?
Yeah, eventually with the Blue Jays we came in here. And as a matter of fact, with the Blue Jays, we stayed right out there beyond the right field fence on the other side of the freeway. So I didn't even know there was a downtown Kansas City.
It's like a motor lodge over there.
We were out here in the middle of nowhere, stranded.
It's not too far, about 15-minute drive or so from downtown. It's pretty quick.
We didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You got I-70 going, I-70 right behind the ballpark. Drive right behind the center field scoreboard. That big Royals logo design of the video board here in center. Yeah, kind of sneaks up on you. Suddenly you look over. Wow, there's two giant stadiums right there. So you never did get to see downtown Kansas City, huh?
Well, not then, no.
It's nice down there. They got, what do you call it, the Power and Light District down there? Now there's the scoreboard, and behind it you may see a car or two. It's kind of hard now. It's dark, obviously, but that's I-70 right behind the scoreboard there. And the two stadiums in this enormous parking lot kind of down, buried in a bowl. Escobar drives this deep to left center field, and it's off the wall. They'll have to settle for a double. Alcides Escobar, 2 for 2.
Ball very nearly got out of here. That wind still blowing across from right to left may have helped that one a little bit. Fortunately stays in the ballpark. Nice play by Ray Fuentes to play that carom off the wall, get it back in quickly, and hold Escobar to a double.
Escobar's 36th double, now 150 hits on the year. He's at second, one out for Alex Gordon. who struck out his first time. First pitch curveball from Taiwan. He's done that all night long, and it's still been effective for him. "72 pitches. Hoover is ready in the bullpen. Torrey told us before the game today that they would cut Taiwan's night short, right around 80 pitches. And he's almost there. Same deal that Zach Greinke had last night. Back to the curveball. I think regardless, Bob, of the way this finishes here for Taiwan, you have to feel extremely encouraged about the way he's looked tonight.
You know, and we've talked a lot about auditions for the postseason and tune-ups and dress rehearsals, and this is how you're supposed to use it. You know, work on a pitch that maybe you're going to need next week. That big curveball, as Gordon has called out on strikes.
Chad Fairchild says strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Walker.
A lot of tail on that fastball, brings it right back to the inside corner. Gordon saw it inside off the plate, but it clearly tailed back to that inside corner.
Well, it's 75 pitches. Taiwan is going to get a chance to finish off the bottom of the 5th. Here's the number 9 hitter, the catcher Cam Gallagher, who struck out in his first at bat. Pops up the first pitch, shallow left center. Marte drifting out there. Peralta will take charge, and Taiwan strands that one out double. Through 5, we're tied at 1. Backs of the Royals all tied at 1. Fans head to Salt River Fields in Scottsdale January 7th through the 13th. You'll spend 6 days, 6 nights as a Major League ball player at D-backs Fantasy Camp. Hotel accommodations, uniforms, instruction from D-backs coaches and staff members, clubhouse service. You will be a real big leaguer for a week at D-backs Fantasy Camp. Check it out, dbacks.com/fantasycamp. Jake Lamb leads off the 6th here against rookie right-hander Jacob Junis. Jake hit by a pitch in the foot his last time up, just kind of grazed him. Jake's home run last night is career high 30th. The only Diamondback run, they lost it 2-1. So far tonight, 1 run on 4 hits. Royals 1 run on 3 hits. 5 very encouraging innings for Taiwan Walker.
Maybe the best fastball command we've seen in a while for Taijuan Walker, and certainly the best curveball we've seen all season from Taijuan Walker. Turned into his go-to weapon against the Royals here tonight.
Well, they told us Taijuan would be done after 80 pitches or before. He's already pretty much there. J.J. Hoover had been warming up, and now it's Archie Bradley in the Diamondback bullpen. And as Jody showed us earlier, Archie's got half a Broken Arrow, Oklahoma here tonight. All kinds of parents are here, a whole bunch of friends and family. Archie had to pay for a whole bunch of tickets.
What did he say? He's playing for free today?
The game check went to the ticket allotment for Archie. He collected as many as he could. So it looks like Archie is going to pitch the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-2 on Jake Lamb. That's hit hard but foul.
Will it just be 1 inning or 2 for Archie Bradley?
Well, it kind of, last time it was 2 as they're sort of extending him. Torrey, it looks like we'll try and see if he can get 2 inning appearances out of Archie in the postseason, if need be, sort of along the lines of Cleveland's Andrew Miller last year. Full count on Lamb, 3-2. It's a good question. A.J. Pollock, the DH tonight, on deck. That's a bouncer over the head of Junis. Escobar, the shortstop, with the shift on, throws him out. Six-3 put out, 1 away. Here's A.J. And now Ned Yost is going to give someone else a chance to take a bow. And it's going to be Moustakas, who is heading into free agency. And listen to the Moose chant here. Last inning it was Hosmer who got the mid-inning replacement and the standing ovation, and now it's Mike Moustakas, one of 4 key Royals position players who will hit the free agent market this winter. And the Royals aren't expected to sign really any of them. Maybe one if they're lucky, if they can find the money. So Ramon Torres takes over at third for Mike Moustakas. Here's Pollock. You've got Hosmer, you've got Moustakas, you've got Kane, you've got Escobar, who will all become free agents after this season. There's Ramon Torres in at third, a rookie. Fastball in, 2 balls and no strikes. AJ 0 for 2 so far. Jacob Junis was sort of cruising along through 3 innings, but he's labored the last 2. A 22-pitch 4th and a 23-pitch 5th. He's now at 92 for the ball game. Taijuan Walker threw 5 innings, threw 76 pitches, 46 for strikes. He looked very good. Fastball in, it's 3-1. Descalso on deck, 0 for 2. This is hit deep left center field. That ball is headed for the seats, and it's gone. A.J. Pollock, his 14th, and it's 2-1 Diamondbacks. Well, after all, he is the designated hitter tonight.
That's right. By the very description, that's what you're supposed to do. A.J. Pollock with a long home run to left center field. That went over the bleachers out there. Might have snuck into one of the fountains out there in left center field. Got a high fastball. He was ready for it. Gets a lot of backspin on that drive. Alex Gordon just gave it a little bit of a look, and that one sails way out of here.
A Jumbo Jack, a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow. A Jack in the Box for the purchase of a large drink, courtesy of A.J. Pollock's 14th home run of the year. So A.J. now has got 5 homers in his last 16 games. That bat is really coming around. 433 feet on the Pollock homer. Descalso hits one deep right center field. Bonifacio tracks it down just shy of the warning track out there. 2 down. And the nice thing is, if you care about such things, that now Taijuan Walker's in line for the win. You'd like to see Taijuan get the victory if you can. That would finish him up this year at 10-9. Archie Bradley warming up in the bullpen. Here's Ray Fuentes, who last time up walked, stole second base, and scored a run on David Peralta's RBI double. Here's Taijuan. He looked really good tonight. First pitch swinging. Merrifield at second. Diamondbacks take the lead. A.J. Pollock his 14th homer. Time to bring in the beard in Kansas City. Tonight, Cox high-speed highlights. Taijuan went 5 innings. Gave up only 1 run on 3 hits. He walked 1. He had 6 strikeouts.
And as I mentioned just a moment ago, explosive fastball in the strike zone. The curveball was outstanding through just a few splitters just to stay in shape, but a really good final tune-up for Taijuan Walker.
76 pitches, 46 for strikes. And they brought in the beard, Archie Bradley. He's got a big contingent of family and friends in the ballpark. It's a whole new battery, in fact, as Chris Herman will take over behind the plate. It's the ash line call to the bullpen. Archie Bradley, his 63rd appearance of the year, a 1.38 ERA. And so Herman is in there for Jeff Mathis, who we assume passed the test. Jeff told us before the game today it would be unlikely he'd catch the entire game, but he certainly looked good out there coming off that broken right hand. And there is the Bradley family. There's Archie's mom on the far left there wearing a beard as Whit Merrifield, the leadoff man and second baseman, starts us off for the home half of the 6th inning. He's 0 for 2. I think your question, Bob, is a really good one here. Is this a 1-inning outing or is it a 2-inning outing for Archie Bradley? Are they trying to stretch him out for the postseason? We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, it could depend on how efficient he is in his first inning of work here. If he gets through this with relatively few pitches, maybe you think about sending him back out there. Of course, being an American League game, you don't have to worry about his spot coming up in the lineup.
Well, you know, every time you cross a guy's name off, you think, okay, now where's he go? Where's the pitcher batting? And none of that matters here. Merrifield, a base hit into right to start off the Kansas City 6th. He's hit safely now in 5 straight.
You know, we talked about the Diamondbacks trip to Minnesota earlier this year and the opportunity to see some of the fine young players they had on their roster. Well, this Whit Merrifield is a guy I've heard the name, I've seen some highlights, but This guy can play some ball.
He's leading the American League, or he's tied for the American League lead in stolen bases with 33. And so you'll have to keep a close eye on him as Lorenzo Cain steps up. Cain walked, stole a base, scored a run his last time up. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Yeah, Merrifield is one home run shy of a 20 homer, 30 stolen base season. And there he goes. Here's the throw from Herman, and he is in there. 34th stolen base of the year for Whit Merrifield. He didn't waste any time.
Chris Herman made it close with a strong, accurate throw right there, but Merrifield had a pretty good jump over there at first base. Archie's not the quickest to home plate. Just in underneath the tag there.
And he's the tying run now with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th.
Stolen bases have loomed large in this game. Hopefully that one won't hurt the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Cain stole 3rd, came home on a single in the 4th. Fuentes stole 2nd, came home on a double in the 5th. And now Merrifield, a single and a stolen base, open up the Royals 6th.
And keep an eye on him back there at second base as well.
That one squeaks through the legs of Herman. Chris scrambles back there to collect it and keeps Merrifield at second.
Yeah, that was one of those ones, I think, from his line of sight. Merrifield couldn't see how far the ball got behind Chris Herman that time. By the time he realizes it's on the grass behind home plate, Herman has bounced on it and ready to throw to third base.
So Archie in immediate trouble here. A single, a stolen base. And now behind on Lorenzo Cain, 2-0. And there goes Merrifield. They got him hung up. Lamb applies the tag. Nice play by Jake Lamb. Archie had to throw it over there when Jake was not really anywhere near the bag, and he was able to get that glove down. That was a tricky play.
Yeah, we used to use a similar play when I was managing. Split the middle infielders wide apart and tempt that guy to try to steal third base, and then use the inside move by the pitcher back to second base. It worked to perfection that time.
There's Mom, everybody in the Bradley family wearing the beards. But now he's behind on Cain, 3-0.
Yeah, those aggressive base runners / base stealers, sometimes you can make the temptation so great that they have to try to steal the base. And I think that was the case right there. Merrifield saw that there was nobody close to him, got a walking lead at second base, and then Archie with that inside move had him dead to rights.
3-1 on Cain with Cuthbert, the new first baseman, on deck. Whit Merrifield this year had been 8 for 8 in his attempts at stealing third base. First time he's been thrown out trying to steal third all year long. Full count, 3-2. Here it is. Check the swing. Just got a piece of that fastball at 98. If you're just joining us, the Rockies have clinched the National League wild card spot behind the Diamondbacks by virtue of a Brewers loss in St. Louis. So it'll be the D-backs and the Rockies Wednesday at Chase Field. National League wild card game. Milwaukee had a 6-0 lead against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. And St. Louis came back and won it with 7 unanswered runs. And so the Rockies, who are hosting Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers tonight, that game now becomes meaningless as they clinch the second NL wild card with the Brewers loss in St. Louis. Lorenzo Cain trying to dunk one into left center. Peralta's off the glove. David laid out for that one. And let's make sure he's okay. I think he might have injured some laundry. That's about it.
Just off the tip of the fingers right there. Couldn't quite stretch out far enough to make that play. Fortunately, Ray Fuentes coming over from center to back it up, and they keep Kane to first.
And another tip of the cap wag of the finger as Ned Yost sends a pinch runner out there for another key free agent to be in Kansas City, Lorenzo Cain. And his night will end here. Paulo Orlando will be the pinch runner. They already did that with Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas. Hosmer came out of the game earlier. And so here's the replacement at first base, Cheslor Cuthbert. His third season with the Royals. Cheslor Cuthbert, 237 and 2 homers. Out of Corn Island, Nicaragua. Gotta watch Orlando at first. He's a former track and field star from Brazil. He can really run. Fastball is fouled straight back, and it's 0-2. Each team now with 5 hits. There's Paulo Orlando. He missed almost all of this season with a fractured shin. He was out about 120 games. 0-2 on Cuthbert. Tried to check, fell over, didn't go, says David Rackley, and it's 1-2. Called strike 3. Got him looking at that curveball.
Good hard curveball that time, right in the middle of the zone. No trickery involved there. No get him to chase. Just throw it for a strike, and Cuthbert could not pull the trigger.
So Cuthbert came on to replace Hosmer. Here's Ramon Torres, who came in to replace Mike Moustakas at third. 24-year-old rookie Ramon Torres, only 32 games with the Royals this year. Fastball's a strike, and it's 0-1. Torres spent most of this season with AAA Omaha. Hit .292 there with 6 homers. Sends this out to center for Fuentes, who plays it on a hop. It's a base hit for Ramon Torres. That's the 3rd Royals single in this inning against Archie Bradley. See this for Archie lately, Bob. He's not missing as many bats as he was earlier this year.
Yeah, it used to be Archie came in and would strike out at least 2 of the 3 outs in his inning of work, but those strikeouts have gone down considerably. The contact rate has gone up a little bit. Not sure if it's location mistakes on the parts of Archie Bradley. His velocity appears to be good. The break on the curveball appears to be good.
He's got 2 on and 2 out. 3 of the 4 hitters he's faced so far have had base hits. Orlando's at second, Torres at first, 2 outs. And it's Jorge Bonifacio, the right fielder. He has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Tried a first pitch curveball and missed. It's 1-0. Bonifacio only his 6th start this month. He's hitting about .220 in September. Fastball's a strike, 1-1. Archie now with 20 pitches in the inning. 13 for strikes. Say one thing about the Royals postseason run, and they won the World Series in 2015. This is an energized ballpark. It's an energized fan base, and the vibe in here, everybody's engaged. It's essentially a meaningless series for Ned Yost Ball Club, and you do have the nostalgia factor with some of these free agents to be playing maybe their final series here, but they've had good crowds here, and the fans are into it for a team that's 22 games out of first and has long since been eliminated. I think that's a carryover from all those great postseason series wins. They're engaged here in KC with their baseball club. Everybody shows up here wearing royal blue, and they have their favorites. High in the air, deep left center, headed for the wall and gone. Jorge Bonifacio, that's his 17th. A 3-run homer, and it's 4-2 Royals. Five batters faced for Archie Bradley. 3 singles and a home run.
You mentioned that Bonifacio hitting .220 going into play tonight. Big, strong guy like that with 2 games left to go in the regular season. He's not going to get his average up to 300. So you might as well try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Got a cookie that time from Archie Bradley and just did sneak it out of here to left center.
Well, he hit it to a Diamondback fan out there. Brandon Moss, the DH. Archie Bradley threw 2/3 of an inning and has already given up more base hits than Taijuan Walker gave up through 5 innings tonight. 410 feet on the Bonifacio homer. And he strikes out Moss, but Jorge Bonifacio hits his 17th, and the Diamondbacks trail it 4-2. Jorge Bonifacio, a 3-run homer, has made it 4-2 Kansas City. As we start the 7th here at Kauffman Stadium, D-backs have secured their National League wild card spot. The game is Wednesday, October 4th against the Rockies at Chase Field. Tickets sold out in about 1 hour, but fans, you can still guarantee yourself a seat for the wild card game when you become a 2018 D-back season ticket holder. Plans include full, half, series, weekends. Buy your season tickets right now and guarantee tickets for this year's postseason games. Check it out at dbacks.com/season tickets. Ryan Buchter, the new pitcher, on for the Royals. Chris Herman, who took over behind the plate for Jeff Mathis, will lead off the Arizona 7th. Ryan Buchter, Diamondback fans are familiar with him. The left-hander acquired from the Padres just before the trade deadline. Diamondbacks have already faced him twice this year, both times when he was pitching for San Diego. First at bat tonight for Chris Herman, the Herminator. 175 and 10 homers. A 159 batting average against lefties this year. Broken bat trying to get down. Gordon's out there though. One down in the 7th. Paulo Orlando, who came on to pinch run for Lorenzo Cain, takes over for Cain in center field. And here comes another ovation. This time it'll be Alcides Escobar, another free agent to be, who gets a standing ovation from the Royals fans. And the young man considered to be the shortstop of the future here, Raul Mondesi Jr., son of the former Dodger, takes over at short for Escobar. David Peralta has doubled twice, knocked in a run. We'll see a pinch hitter here. Christopher Negron, as Torey Lovello starting to sub out some of his Diamondback regulars. There's the strike. So Negron hits for Peralta. Christopher 3 for 20 with the Diamondbacks this year. Trying to bunt his way on, fouls the fastball back, and it's 1-2. We've seen Chris play all over the field, left field, shortstop, first base, second base. The Aussie side armor Peter Moylan, who looked really good last night. Through 10 pitches, got a couple of outs, warming up in the Royal bullpen. Two miss, full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ketel Marte on deck. German Marquez, by the way, is pitching that game for the Rockies. He started as scheduled against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. They're in the bottom of the third at Coors Field, and the Rockies lead LA 3-1. Called strike 3. Rockies had already secured the second National League wild card earlier today when the Brewers lost at St. Louis, but they went ahead as scheduled and pitched Marquez against Kershaw. Ketel Marte 0 for 3. Trying to bunt his way on for a base hit. Merrifield was well back and had no chance to get Marte a bunt single.
Nicely done. Put it out there in that Bermuda triangle. Get it by the left-handed pitcher. First baseman immediately goes to the bag, leaving Merrifield as the only defender that even had a chance on that ball. Perfect bunt.
Well, Goldie will be the hitter. Ned Yost going to get his left-hander out of there. And he'll bring in Peter Moylan, who struck out Goldie when they faced each other last night back after this.
Two outs. Goldieman scuffling at the plate a little bit lately, and his numbers down really in the month of September. Asked Troy Lavello what he's been seeing from him. He said last night in particular, and he hadn't dissected everything from Paul as far as every at-bat all month long, but last night he just said he was hustling a little bit too much, not using his talent to let the ball get deep, just seeing it, being patient. And tonight, guys, he's flied to right, grounded out to short, walked, so we'll see. He said no matter what you know about Paul Goldschmidt, he is always ready to do some damage.
Well, Peter Moylan made him look a little silly last night with that big breaking slider he throws from that sidearm spot. And here's a rematch of that at bat. Moylan struck him out in the 6th inning last night. The Aussie sidearmer Peter Moylan, his 79th appearance of the year. Ketel Marte at first base. And 2 outs. Broken bat. It backs up Mondesi at shortstop. They go to second for the force on Marte. We stretch at Kauffman Stadium. D-backs trail the Royals 4-2.
inning. Hey, fans, a day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Christopher Negron, who hit for David Peralta, remains in the game, taking over in left field. Archie Bradley back out there for his second inning of work tonight. And the new shortstop, Raul Mondesi Jr., leads off the home half of the seventh. 160 with a 1 homer this year. Mondesi only 50 at bats with the Royals. He's 22 years old. 8 for 50 at the plate this season. Mondesi had a very good year at AAA Omaha. Played 85 games there. Hit .305. 13 homers. He stole 21 bases. They actually tried him out at second base to begin this season. He just did not hit at all there. That's how they sort of discovered Whit Merrifield, if you want to use that word. And Merrifield has been holding down the fort at second all year long, while Mondesi's been playing shortstop in the minors, which is his normal and natural position. And he figures to be the shortstop next year if they lose Escobar to free agency. And yes, he is the son of the former big leaguer Raul Mondesi. His father, the former Dodgers, had some serious legal troubles in the Dominican Republic as Archie strikes him out. Raul Mondesi Sr. just is sentenced to 8 years in prison for a corruption scandal as a mayor of San Cristobal in the Dominican. And so the son has had to face a lot of questions here about that. Alex Gordon has struck out twice. Archie Bradley was not at all pleased with himself after he struck out Moss to end that 6th inning. Gave up 3 singles and a 3-run homer by Bonifacio. Turned a 2-1 D-backs lead into a 4-2 deficit, and Archie was fired up and angry coming off that mound to win the bottom of the 6th. Behind on Gordon 2-0. Fastball in, 3 balls and no strikes with Gallagher, the catcher, the number 9 hitter on deck. Diamondbacks have the shift on against Gordon. 3 infielders on the right side. Here's Gallagher, the rookie catcher. Archie working maybe a little too quickly here. He walked the guy who's already struck out twice, and Torey Lovullo will pull Bradley from the ball game, just shy of 40 pitches, and Zach Godley will get some work in. Archie with a lot of friends and family here, not quite his night. He leaves trailing 4-2. Some possibilities here with the D-backs trailing the Royals 4-2 in the 7th inning. The wild card game is all set. D-backs and Rockies Wednesday at Chase Field. It's Wild Card Wednesday on Fox Sports Arizona with 12 hours of D-backs programming starting at 6 a.m. You can catch encores of D-backs shows and the game of our season, along with the debut of Mark Grace Storytime Theater. And then at 1 o'clock, a 4-hour postseason edition of the Diamondback Live pregame show from the Game 7 grill just outside the ballpark. And after the game, flip it back over here to Fox Sports Arizona for the D-backs Live postgame show. Fox Sports Arizona, all day, all night, the whole thing, Wild Card Wednesday. Zach Godley on to get some work in, facing the catcher Cam Gallagher. This is something Torey Lovello told us yesterday we would see. Godley on in relief after a short night for Taijuan Walker, but it comes after Archie Bradley hit a few snags. Gallagher 0 for 2 so far. Here's the chopper. Godley will pick it up before it goes foul. Applies the tag. Gordon into second, 2 outs. Here is Whit Merrifield, the leadoff man. And as Torey reminded everyone yesterday, just because you see Patrick Corbin or Zach Godley pitch out of the bullpen does not mean that's where they'll be in the postseason. They're simply running out of games here on game number 161 to get these guys some innings, and they have to keep these starters sharp. And just because of the math, some of those guys have to pitch in relief, and that's what they've done with Corbin last night and Godley tonight. Good hard curveball from Zach, and it's 0-1 on Merrifield, who singled, stole a base, and was thrown out trying to steal third his last time up. Merrifield homered here last night against Zach Greinke. His 19th of the year. Can't check his swing. Another curveball from Godley, and it's 0-2.
Now that Merrifield home run last night against Zach Greinke, that was pretty impressive. He hit it right down the left field line, over the foul pole, barely in fair territory, but went well over 400 feet right down the left field line.
Well, it's kind of funny. He admitted after the game last night he is trying to hit home runs. He wants to get a 20 homer stolen base, a 20 homer 30 stolen base season. And he's now 1 home run shy, so he's looking for that number. He told reporters after the game last night with Merrifield, not going to lie, been trying for a while to hit a couple of more homers. And at this point, there's no way to go up there and not try to hit a home run. He wants that 20 homer 30 stolen base season. Why not? Gordon at second, 2 outs, a ball and 2 strikes on Whit Merrifield. Lifts it in the air to J.D. Martinez in right field. And Godley's able to strand that 1-out walk. We hit the 8th. D-backs trail at 4-2.
Jake Lamb and A.J. Pollock, the first 3 scheduled hitters. They trail the Royals by 2. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
J.D. Martinez set to lead off the 8th inning against the new Royals pitcher. We saw him work the 8th inning last night. Veteran Joaquin Soria, his 59th appearance of the year. Soria last night pitched 1 inning, walked a batter through 17 pitches, and here he is. He got to Martinez to ground into a double play to win the 8th inning last night.
64 strikeouts against only 19 walks in his 55 innings of work. Only 1 home run allowed this season.
How about that? Well, let's make it 2. The right guy's up there. Just Dingers. He singled in the 4th, 1 for 3 tonight. D-backs have been out hit 7-6. They trail it 4-2. That one's fouled off. Merrifield at second. 1 down in the 8th. Jake Lamb 0 for 2. He was grazed on the foot by a pitch in the 4th inning. Jake hit home run number 30 here last night. Diamondbacks last night only 1 run on 6 hits. Tonight 2 runs on 6 hits. David Peralta RBI double and A.J. Pollock solo homer. Lamb down 0-2. Jake has homered in each of his last 2 games, 3 times in his last 7. 30 homers, 104 runs batted in, both new career highs for Lamb.
It's frightening to think about the numbers that Jake Lamb could possibly put up if he could carry his first half right into the second half, as opposed to the collapse we've seen the last 2 years in the second half of the season. The power numbers have still been there. The RBIs have still been there. Just the consistent contact has not.
Got under this one just a bit. Merrifield is out there. He collects it in front of Bonifacio. 2 down. Yeah, you're right, BB.
Yeah.
Lamb is sitting, let's see, 207 since the All-Star break this year. That'll bring up A.J., who homered his last time up.
I remember when A.J. first came back off the disabled list, he must have swung at 100 of those sliders off the plate low and away. Took him a while to reconfigure his strike zone, if you will, but once he did, he started to hit. And hasn't stopped even tonight. Back in the 6th inning, our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Cool play of the game into the fountain out in left center.
His 14th of the year. A ball and 2 strikes. Bases empty, 2 outs. Daniel Descalso hoping to get a chance. Daniel 0 for 3 so far today. Full count, 3-2. Missed with a fastball. A 2-out walk for Pollock.
That's big right there, trailing by 2 in the game. You just want to get somebody on base and hope that Soria makes a mistake in the middle of the plate. Somebody can tie this game up with one swing of the bat.
Well, it might be Daniel Descalso. 0 for 3 tonight. Daniel stuck in a 1 for 28 right now. For 7 in the series. Fastball missed. It's 1-0. Diamondbacks, if they can't come back and win this game, will drop to 40-40 on the road this year with 1 more to go. Be nice to finish the season with a winning record on the road. 52-29 at Chase Field, where they'll host the Rockies in the wild card game Wednesday. Colorado tonight clinched that 2nd National League wild card spot. So we get to play the Rockies 20 times now this year.
Lovely.
Yeah. 19 wasn't enough. Those guys can wear you out. A couple of MVP candidates and Arenado and Charlie Blackmon. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fastball's in there and it's 2-2.
I saw an interesting little blurb in somewhere online today when I was looking at various articles. The Rockies, you know, have the reputation of being a bunch of sluggers. Boy, they can really hit. Until the last 2 days, they had the same number of home runs this season as the San Diego Padres. Wow. Now, the Rockies have gone off a little bit the last couple of nights. I think they're 4 ahead of the Padres right now.
Descalso sends one toward the right field corner. Bonifacio will play it off the wall. Pollock is flying around third. Descalso headed for third. And he is in there with an RBI triple. Daniel Descalso, his 5th triple this year, and the Diamondbacks are back within 1.
So much about this game is all about the breaks. Daniel Descalso crushes that breaking ball to right field. Watch this ball hit and go the other way. That forced Bonifacio to run up another 5 or 6 steps to pick that ball up. By the time he gets it back in, A.J. Pollock has scored. Daniel Descalso sliding into third with a 2-out triple.
And he is the tying run 90 feet away with 2 down for Ray Fuentes, who walked and scored in the 5th. He's 0 for 2. Fuentes has spent the last 2 seasons with the Royals organization. He was traded from the Padres to Kansas City before the 2015 season. Played that year with their AAA team in Omaha. Had a good year there. and played 13 games with the Royals in the big leagues last season. Now here he is as a Diamondback. Kansas City released Fuentes last September. He signed with the D-backs in December. Two balls and a strike. Chad Fairchild hearing it from the Royals dugout.
I can see why.
Whew.
It's a pretty good pitch right there. Two-seam sinking fastball right at the bottom of the knees.
Oh yeah, he's getting blasted from that Kansas City dugout. Two and two. Torey Lovullo wanted Ray Fuentes to get a start in center field tonight. He says Ray's been an important piece of the puzzle this year. Looking at him potentially for a postseason roster spot. Able to check his swing that time, and it's full 3-2. Herman on deck.
Ray has already drawn a walk, stole a base, scored a run in this game back in that 5th inning.
He can do a lot of things. Left-hand bat. He's got 2 pinch hit home runs this year. An excellent defender. Base stealer. Tying run at third. 2 outs. 3-2. Here it is. We'll do it one more time.
Yeah, the one thing I used to be most concerned with about the bench guys like Ray Fuentes is, are they overly aggressive? Are they chasing bad pitches? And when you don't get regular at bats, you don't see a lot of live pitching, you have a tendency to want to go up there and make things happen, swinging at bad pitches. But Ray, so far in this ball game, has eyeballed some borderline pitches. Here he's run the count to full.
25th pitch of the inning from Soria on the way. Bounce to first. Cuthbert is there. And they strand Descalso at third. But Daniels' RBI double has made it a 1-run ball game. D-backs trail at 4-3. Lead. 5 solid innings from Taijuan Walker. Jorge Bonifacio, a 3-run homer off Archie, made it 4-2 Kansas City. Diamondbacks just got 1 back on the Descalso RBI triple. And so it's a 4-3 ball game as Paulo Orlando leads off the Kansas City 7th. Whole bunch of changes. Gregor Blanco, the new left fielder, replacing Christopher Negron. Negron goes to first, taking over for Goldie. Hazelbaker is in right for J.D. Martinez. Adam Rosales, the new third baseman replacing Jake Lamb, and Negron is at first. Here's Orlando. Rosales, sure enough, one pitch, it finds a new guy. It's amazing.
Somebody needs to keep track of that. We keep track of everything else. I'm sure
it just defies all laws of physics and science and nature. But as soon as the new guy goes in defensively, the first ball is always hit to him. It's amazing. Schessler Cuthbert replaced Eric Hosmer at first base. Zach Godley getting some work in tonight in relief. Cuthbert takes a big swing at that Godley curveball. Herman a little slow to pick it up, but they complete the strikeout. Big smile on Chris's face. He had plenty of time to get him.
Tell everybody you did it on purpose just to make Cuthbert run.
First strikeout for Godley. And here's Ramon Torres, who took over third for Mike Moustakas. Mike Minor, who got the save in the ball game last night, the left-hander, is 5th of the year. Warming up in the Kansas City bullpen, former Atlanta Braves starter who's been reborn as a Royal reliever. That one bounces foul. Minor had 2 strikeouts in the 9th inning last night. Two and two. D-backs trail at 4-3, each team with 7 hits. Bonifacio's got the big one, a 3-run homer. He's on deck. But Torres strikes out. Godley a 1-2-3/8 gets us to the 9th. Diamondbacks down 1. Walker will pinch hit to get it started against Royals closer Mike Minor. Fans, if you weren't able to get postseason tickets, Wednesday's wild card game, you still have a chance. Don't miss out on other potential postseason games to be played at Chase Field in October. Register for tickets online, dbacks.com/postseason. After you've signed up, you'll be notified later about your eligibility to buy the tickets, dbacks.com/postseason. So sign up now for postseason tickets. The Rockies have clinched the second National League wild card. After that, it's the division series against the Dodgers. Here's Mike Minor, who got save number 5 of the ball game last night. He threw 15 pitches. Christian Walker will hit for Chris Herman to lead off the Diamondback ninth. Both of Walker's hits for the Diamondbacks this year have been pinch hit home runs. Torey Lovullo thinking about Christian Walker for a spot on that wild card roster. As a right-hand bat, a sniper down the end of the bench. And so far, he's delivered twice with 2 pinch hit homers. Let's see what he can come up with here. Down 1 to start the ninth. First pitch swinging, fouled it off. This year's Pacific Coast League MVP, Christian Walker. 32 home runs for the Reno Aces this year, a new Reno single season record. Fastball's a strike and it's 0-2. Just off the glove of Torres at third. It rolls down the left field line. Walker will have a double to start the ninth. He's the tying run, Christian Walker.
Smoked that ball down there to third base. Very fortunate for the Diamondbacks that Torres got a glove on that ball, deflected it into foul territory. Alex Gordon is a really good defender out there in left field. If that ball gets through cleanly, Walker probably has to stop at first base.
Ildemaro Vargas will run for Walker. Christopher Negron is the hitter. He checked in left field for David Peralta. Now he's taken over at first base for Paul Goldschmidt. Vargas is the tying run at second, nobody out. Cuthbert coming in on the grass at first. Tries to bunt and pops it back up to the pitcher. Ron Gardenhire, been through this drill a million times. Longtime manager in the American League Central with the Twins. Torey Lovullo's bench coach. Marte, the shortstop, is the hitter. He'll bat from the right-hand side. Tying run at second, one out. Brandon Drury has come out in the on-deck circle. You've got a left-hand batter due up next in Gregor Blanco, who took over in left field. So Drury would bat from the right-hand side, set to hit for Blanco against the lefty. Drifting near the seats, Bonifacio will play it in fair territory. It hung up in that wind for him. And he got it back in there quickly and almost threw it away. Raul Mondesi made a nice saving play there to keep Vargas at second. And there are 2 outs. Drury will hit. Brandon 267, 13 homers. He singled as the DH here last night. Tying run at second, 2 outs. Diamondbacks 1 for 11 tonight with runners in scoring position. Vargas running for Walker, who hit for Herman. Ball 1. And they are into it here at Kauffman Stadium. 32,727 on a Saturday night in Kansas City. Brandon's had a productive bat as of late. He's hit safely in 4 straight games, 6 of his last 7. Down a ball and 2 strikes. Called strike 3, and the Royals win the ball game. Another W goes up for Kansas City here at Kauffman Stadium. D-backs drop game 2 of this series 4-3, and there's the guy that had the big hit.